Hello, am I audible? Uh, right. So I can see that people are still joining. So maybe we can give it a few more minutes in case people are still joining. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I can see that there are only, I think, 8 people in the call. So let's give it a few minutes in case people, I can see people, the number still increasing. So let people join. Let's give it 2 or 3 more minutes and then we'll start the class. Okay, maybe we can slowly start the class and people can keep joining. So I'll share my screen. Sorry, okay. Right, so hello everyone. Welcome to, we're well past the halfway point of this course now. But yeah, welcome to week 8 of these problem solving sessions for the NPTEL course on Joy of Computing using Python. I'm Xenia. I'm a PhD student at the Indian Institute of Science. I work primarily in astrophysics. And in my work, as I have mentioned previously, I use Python almost every day. And, that just speaks to how Python has a wide applicability and can be co-opted into any field or application that you can think of. So, right. So these sessions are meant if anyone is joining for first time or doesn't know what these sessions are meant for solving problems which are related to but not exactly that of your assignment questions so that you can have an easier time to grasp the material and also get some practice before you do your quizzes and assignments. So as always, my email ID is given to you. I post it in all the slides also. So if you have anything, please mail me. In case I've not seen your mails, you can bring it up now and we can discuss also if you have any concerns. Apart from that, I maintain a website where I put all the links, relevant links of this course. So that's this website. I'll share this again at the end of the class. But yeah, please just copy this link and save it. Here you can find, for example, the YouTube playlist where all the recorded videos of the session so far have been uploaded. You can also find the slides of the sessions. And here in the Google Drive, actually, along with the slides, I also give you the solutions to the programs that we discuss. So yeah, so this is all the different resources that are already available to you. Apart from that, I think the NPTEL team also makes links available to you, so you can go and check it there. But you can also just bookmark this page, and that has all the links. So I will talk about this again at the end of the class. People usually ask this in between, but let's not interrupt the flow of the class. So I'm just getting all this housekeeping out of the way. And yeah, apart from that, we can move on to, discussing the topics for today. So this week we'll be discussing your week 8 material. As I said, you have now moved towards the second half of the course, kind of. We've already seen how to do some very basic things with Python, some basic data types and containers like lists and dictionary. And today you will be seeing one more type of data type, composite data type called a tuple. And tuple look is similar to list, but it has some important differences which we will explore it today. Apart from that, you have also slowly been learning more and more complex programs as the weeks go on. Like last week, you did the snake and ladder program, and this week's lectures, you had a variety of these, including lottery simulator, image processing, anagrams, and other programs. So, and these are the things that you have been seeing in your lectures. So I'm not going to go over any of these things in detail because you already have detailed videos about these programs and their working. Instead, let's try to refresh quickly and then solve some problems relating to this concept so that we can refresh ourselves that way. Okay, so I always show this slide in the beginning of my lectures because it's important that whenever you write code, and especially when you're starting off, try to build good habits when you're starting off because it's easy to build habits now when you're first learning something rather than unlearning and then relearning it at a later stage. So always write good code, not just functional code. Try to choose proper variable function names, comments, put comments wherever required, use spacing properly. Python actually has this thing where it will not run without the proper spacing, so it's really important. And always document whatever you do so that it becomes easier for you. Trust me, if you don't appreciate it now, you will appreciate it later on in the future. So, this is something to keep in mind. Okay. Okay. So very quickly, as I said, we had looked at different data types in the beginning of this class. Like you have your primitive data types like your int, float, character, etc. But then you also have data types which are collections of other data types. So list is one of them. You can have a list of int, list of float, a list of characters, which we typically call a string, and so on. You can also have dictionaries where data is stored in key value pairs. Now, tuple is another way to store multiple items in a single variable, like a dictionary or a list. And yeah, you can see that it is one of the four built-in data types used to store collections of data. Other three are list, set, and dictionary. I think we have not discussed set yet. We'll probably be discussing it in the future classes. So let me just quickly say I had disabled mic for everyone at the beginning of these classes because at that time there were way more people and it used to be a lot of disturbance if anyone had unmuted. I have not changed that setting. I think if I change the setting, I'll have to restart the meeting or something. So let's keep it like that for now. If you want to stop me or you want to talk at any point, just put it in the chat and I'll give you mic access. You can also put your answers or doubts. If you have any doubts or anything, put it in the chat. I am monitoring the chat on the side on my phone. Okay, yeah. So as I said, tuple is a built-in data type which is used to store multiple items under the same name. Okay, that's what a tuple is. Now, it's one of the four data types of this case. You have already learned about two of these, which are list and dictionary. Now, the main thing about tuple is it's ordered and unchangeable. Whereas list is changeable in the sense that you can add or remove collections from a list. In a tuple, that is not possible. So you can immediately see the difference between list and tuple. And you can think about scenario where in a certain program, you might have some collection of things that you don't want to change throughout the program. In that sense, you would store it in a tuple rather than a list to ensure that accidentally it does not get any effect, right? So this is the way in which you think about why you would use a tuple instead of a list and so on. Okay. So another big stylistic thing is that in list we use square brackets to denote, whereas tuple is stored with round brackets. So whenever you see an array with round brackets, that's a tuple. If you see them with square brackets, that is a list. And of course, if you have curly braces, that's a dictionary. But in dictionary, things are anyway different because you have key value pairs instead of just single items forming the dictionary. Okay, so that's mainly the thing that I wanted to discuss today. Let's go to doing the questions. So as usual, I will give you the question and then you can show the answer in the chat and then we can discuss the answers together. So please, I think only few of you are in the call today. Not less than 20 people are in the call today. So that means that everybody can answer, and you should all answer so that we can get an idea of it once again. Yeah. Okay, fine. So let's go to the first okay, first question. So is the first question, what is the output of the following Python code? So here you can see that this is a tuple of lists, right? So please put your answer in the chat. So first of all, this is a tuple because it has the brackets, but you can also see that inside the tuple, each element is a list. So what will be the output? Okay, someone says D. Someone else says D. Others? Okay, one person says A. Another A in the chat. Okay, you can see that D is the majority answer right now. Others? Tuple is immutable, but remember that read the code carefully. Is it actually a tuple that is being changed or something else? Read the code carefully. Any other answers? Okay, maybe we can then maybe go to the answer. So instead of like showing you the first, I'll just show you the answer. The answer is actually A, because this is a tuple of lists. Okay, so here we are appending 5 actually to the list, because tuple of 0 is actually a list, it's not a tuple, and it's always allowed to add items or remove items from list. So yes, tuple is immutable, but here we are not actually changing the tuple, we are changing the element of the tuple, which is the list, which is allowed to be changed. But maybe we have made some mistakes, so let's just clarify this by running it in Python and checking. Okay, so I have my terminal here. Let's go to Python. Let's run this exact code and see what happens, right? So I have a tuple which is made of two lists. So again, how do I distinguish between tuple and list? Because tuple has round bracket and list has square bracket. So here you can see that there are two elements in my tuple and both are lists. Now, when I give tuple of 0, it returns to me a list. That means I can always append to that list. You can see that it did not give any type error or anything like that. And in fact, if I now print tuple, I will get 1, 2, 5, 3, 4. So again, we have not changed any element of the tuple as such, because we are just changing a list. A list is stored in a particular memory location. Say we have just appended to that list itself. We have not added. So if I did this, for example, that is going to give me an error saying that tuple has no attribute of append. Or if I try to do this, then it will say that tuple object does not support item assignment. But doing this is always allowed, because I am not actually acting on a tuple here, I am acting on a list. Okay, so that is the idea. Is this clear to everyone? Okay, good, fine. So, yeah, so the thing is that we are acting on a list, we are not acting on a tuple. That is the important thing. Even though it is a tuple list, even though it looks like a tuple, we are actually acting on the list which is within the tuple. That is why. So always read the questions carefully. Okay, what are operations which can be performed on tuples? Please put your answer. So we've already discussed this kind of. So you can answer this quickly. Okay, someone says D, others D. Okay, D. Okay, any other answers from the chat? Okay, if not, we can go to the answer. The answer is D, correct. Obviously, tuples are not appendable. We just saw that. For the same logic, we can also not delete a value from a tuple. So we can't add a value or delete a value from a tuple. So obviously, all these options are wrong. We can always count the number of instances of an element in a tuple. You can do some some index manipulations like you usually do. Iterate through the tuple and count it through a loop or something. That is always possible. Okay. So that is about this question. Next question. What is the output of the following Python code? This is just related to your index manipulation. So if you understand indexes properly, this should be an easy question. Any answers? Okay, someone says A, C, any other answers? I only see two people answering. Okay, someone says B, C, B. Okay, seems like it's between B and C. One more person saying B. Okay, looks like people are, it's kind of tied between B and C, or maybe B is majority. Any other answers in the chat? If not, let's go to the answer. So the answer is actually C. Okay. So to understand this, we need to understand two things. One is that whenever we give a negative number in an array as an index, that counts the number backwards. So for example, this will be -1, this will be -2, this will be -3, this will be -4, and this will be 5, -5. Similarly, if I want to count forwards, it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, which you all know. But when I count backwards, this is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Now remember that in range, whenever I give the second number, that is not counted, right? If I give range of 1 comma 5, that will only give me 1 2 3 4. It will not include 5. So range always excludes the second number that you provide in the range. So that's why even though this goes till -5, the length of the tuple, that -5 is not counted. So 1 will not be printed. And this again you can understand if I can just code it up for you quickly. So again, if we can give the tuple as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then for example, tuple of -5 will be 1. As I said, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Tuple of -1 is just 5. And if I give for I in range -1 length of t, comma -1, And instead of printing just t of I, let's print I comma t of I. Then you can really see the thing which I'm saying. Huh, why did that not happen? Okay. Oh, sorry. I made a typo. Okay. Sorry. Minus length of. Yeah, so here you can see, right? So it goes from -1, which is the last element, -2, which is 4, -3, which is 3. So again, it's just counting the elements backwards, but it does not include -5 because in range, always the second number is excluded. It's always 1 before the second number. Yeah, I noticed the typo. Okay, so that is the idea. Okay, so here you can just focus on this. This I made a typo. So you can just focus on the highlighted part. So you can see -5, -2, -3, -4. It does not count for -5. And that's because range is, that's how range works. Anyway, here's the next question. Okay, try looking at this and try solving it. These questions, by the way, try solving them without, I hope you're not just putting them in Python or something. Try to solve them without doing that. It's an important skill in programming to not only be able to write code, but also read code and understand it. So, yeah, this is what these problems help you to do. Okay. So, yeah, please put your answers in the chat. I don't see any answers in the chat. Any idea? Okay, maybe let's break this down. Do you guys know what this function does? Or, okay, someone has answered A. Yes, ORD of W returns the ASCII. So here what we are doing is for each of the characters in the string Facebook, we are taking the ASCII of that character, then doing some manipulation on the ASCII. So this is somewhat like a cipher, right? This is not somewhat, it is a cipher where we are changing a one character to another by shifting it in some way. Okay, so that is what this line is actually doing. It's taking the ASCII and every letter has an ASCII value. Uppercase letters have a different ASCII value, lowercase letters have a different ASCII value, and the small a has an ASCII value of 97. Okay, so with all that information, maybe you can try to see how to solve this. Okay, so first of all, this is just mapping each character to its ASCII value. After that, I am just taking that ASCII value and doing some mathematics on it, and 97 just corresponds to ASCII value of A. So now this new character of J converts the ASCII value back to the character. So this is what this loop is doing. With that information, can you try to answer? I only see one answer in the chat. I'll give you some time to figure it out. Okay, someone says B. Any other answers? Only two answers in the chat so far. I don't even see a majority also. A, okay. Okay, someone says B. Looks like it is between A and B. Any other answers? Okay, maybe let's move to the answer. I don't see many answers in the chat. Before that, let's see what this line is actually doing. Okay, and then let's break it down slowly, and then that will make the answer very evident because the answer just lies in figuring out this line 7. So, first of all, as I said, ASCII is a numerical value for every character. Uppercase characters have different numerical values, but here we are only dealing with lowercase value, so we don't need to worry about it. Lowercase a is 97, then lowercase b is 98, and so on. So small c will be 99, etc. until z is 122 or something like that. So that means that each for each of the letters I'm first extracting their ASCII value, then I'm doing this mathematical operation on the ASCII value. So let's try to understand what's actually happening, right? So first of all, forget about this minus 97 and let's just look at I plus 26 mod 26. Okay. So I plus 26 mod 26, what does it do? I know that I, what something mod some other number will just give me the remainder, right? So for example, 5 mod 2 is 1 because it gives remainder 1. Obviously, if I add 26 to something and then take the mod of by the same value 26, it's not going to change anything, right? It's not going to change um, the remainder. For example, sorry, if I take a value and then I add I add the number that I'm taking the mod of from it, then it's not going to change the remainder, right? Like 5 mod 4 is 1, but also 5 plus 4 9 mod 4 is also 1 because 4 mod 4 is 0, right? If I just imagine I plus 26 mod 26, breaking this down to I mod 26 plus 26 mod 26, that 26 mod 26 is not going to contribute anything. So that means that essentially I have I mod 26, which is just going to give me, like, A will be giving me say whatever the ASCII code of A is, mod 26, B will give me 1 greater than that, etc. And then I'm just minusing 97 from it. Okay, so this basically just removes the ASCII from it, right? So for A, for example, A is just 97. 97 minus 97 means it will just give me 0, for example. B is going to give me 1. So this just indices are lowercase numbers from 0 to 25, right? A being 0 to B being 20, Z being 25. And finally, what am I doing? I'm adding back that 97. So essentially, I have minus 97 plus 97, and I also have 26 mod 26, which is also 0. So I have a 0 and then I have another 0. So altogether, this whole operation, even though it looks so complicated, is going to give me back the same ASCII value that I started with. So that means that whatever is in Facebook is just going to come back as Facebook. There's not going to be any change. And if you want to really get a feel for this, then we can just do this for one of the numbers. Let me just exit again and clear the screen. So let's Go to Python. Let's, for example, imagine taking the A in the word, right? So A means it's 97, right? So let's just evaluate this expression for 97. So 97 plus 26 minus 97 mod 26, and then finally plus 97. The answer is 97. So whatever value I put in I, that only comes out to be j, because all these operations kind of cancel each other. The 26 mod 26 cancels each other, plus 26 and mod 26 cancel each other, minus 97 and plus 97 cancel each other. So that means that this is actually not a very good cipher, because this is not really encoding the word at all. So if you wanted to encode this word, what would you do? Well, you could change this 26 into some other number. In that case, you would actually get a shift in your letters, which would not be just giving Facebook back to the same number. So this actually you can play around with. So for example, the second option which some of you gave, this is just by shifting each letter to the next letter, right? F becomes G, A becomes B, C becomes D, etc. So you can play around with this cipher and see what is the value, which value of these four values I have to change in order to get this as the output when I put in Facebook. So that's something that sorry, you can play around with and find out. Okay, so is there any doubts in this question? Any doubts, any problems in this question? Okay, if not, let's go to the next question. Okay, sorry, it's a little pixelated, but yeah, the next question is to deal with this code. Right. So I can just read it out to you. It's a little pixelated, but essentially, first line is print, enter a letter between A to Z. Then player one is string of input. Player two is also string of input. So two inputs. While true, if ord of player one dot lower plus one is double equal to ord of player two dot lower, print clap break, else player one input, player two string input. So when will the program print clap is the question. Oh, sorry. Okay, someone says B. Any other answers? Okay, another B. 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 Okay. Okay, good. Many of you have answered. The correct answer is B, as you have answered. So here again, when I use this ORD function, that is just going to return to me the ASCII value. And I know that here this condition is basically saying this, right? If player two's value is player one's ASCII value plus one, and that just corresponds to the next letter. Like as I said, lowercase a has ASCII value 97, lowercase b has ASCII value 98. So it's just one shifted, right? So that's how you think about it. So that is what is happening in this program. Okay, good. You all got that correctly, whoever answered. Next question. Okay, so here the program is here. What will be the effect of the following Python code on the graph? Okay, so here you're using matplotlib, which I don't know if I think you have discussed already in your lectures. Answers in the chat, anyone? Okay, someone says C. Okay, B, sorry, D, B. Okay, I can see B, C, and D. All of them are in the chat. Both B and C, that is D. Okay, okay, got it. Okay, I'll give a minute in case people are still answering. Okay, okay. Okay, maybe we can go to the answer. So here, the answer is B and C, as some of you had answered correctly. So let's see what's happening here. So here, the graph which is being plotted is literally the value of L, and here L is going to be based on this two random numbers which are generated, guess and pick. And if guess is not equal to pick, then you can see that L has an increase, or if guess is equal to pick, then L has a decrease. So basically the graph goes up when guess and pick are not the same, which is because count plus equal to 1, and the graph goes down when guess and pick are the same. So that is what is happening, and that you can see by looking at these count statements over here. So I think this is a straightforward question. Any doubts in this? I don't think so. So let's go to the next question. Right. So you spoke about this natural language processing this week. So this is a theory question about that. What is the primary advantage of using tokenization in natural language processing? Of course, these kinds of things are very relevant now because AI is keeps growing and getting more and more into our lives. So it's very good that this course has those aspects so you can at least understand some of the things that go into these things. So what is tokenization? I mean, what is the advantage of using tokenization? Okay, I can see one answer, B. Any other answers in the chat? Okay, another B. Okay, D, B, B. Okay, maybe let's go to the answer. The answer is B. So tokenization basically means breaking your sentence or text down into smaller chunks, and that allows the AI model or the natural language processing system to process each chunk individually instead of dealing with this large text, right? It's the same that we humans do, where instead of having a book as it is, we break it into chapters and points and sentences and so on. So that is the same thing. Okay, here's the next question. You have a string and something is being done to the string. What is the output of the code? Please put your answers in the chat. Okay, someone says C, some other. Okay, yeah. Sorry, by the way, these should be A, B, C, D. I forgot to change the bullet type. But yeah. Okay, I can see most people, I mean, many people saying C. Anyone else? Please, everyone answer in the chat. Would be nice actually. Okay, okay. Okay, good. So all of you are correct. So here this is sorted. So it just comes in the alphabetical order. And of course, before any of the alphabets, all the other non-characters are sorted. But because we are printing it in reverse order, it will be Y first and then all the non-characters at the end. So that's what's happening here. Okay, good. You all got that correct. Next question. When converting an image into black and white, can it be converted back into a colored image? True or false? Okay, true. Someone says true. Any other answers? Okay, true. Most of you are saying true. One person says false. Two people say false. Okay, fine. Let's go to the answer. The answer is false. The reason is that we are taking each value to strictly a particular color of black or white. So we are taking, for example, each pixel is going to have multiple colors, right? And but then we are mapping it to only two values, right? Zero or one. Let's say black is zero and white is one. So then when we try to map it back, it's difficult because it's easy to write a function that takes, that gives you zero for many outputs, inputs. But then if you input zero, now I need to get back multiple colors, right? That is difficult. So the way that we think about image processing is we break it down into pixel. Each pixel has some value, and then we're taking that value and mapping to another value. So if I am converting a colored image to black and white, I am taking that value and I'm putting it to either 0 or 1. Then when I want to put it back, I have to put 0. I don't know which value to put 0 to, which value to put 1 to. So that is why it's difficult. Okay, so this is the problem that you can face when you put an image to black and white, converting a black and white image back to a color image. But of course people have found things to do now, but this is a very basic way to think about it, is that I'm taking it to two values but you are not able to do it. But if you have some additional input, like if you have a large learning model or a artificial intelligence model, then it may be able to use its library of training data and kind of convert it back. But by a simple function you won't be able to do it because of what I just said. Does this make sense? So you need some extra information about the picture, then only you can do this. Does this make sense? Is that fine? Okay, cool. Let's go to the next question. This is the next question. What is the output of the following Python code? Any answers in the chat? Okay, someone says A. Okay, someone else says A. Okay, B. Yeah, okay. So character just simply takes whatever is order takes the character to the ASCII value. Well, sorry, not order. ORD takes the character to the ASCII value, whereas this CHR function takes the ASCII value back to the character itself. So, for example, I can just show you very quickly. If I put ORD of A, that's going to give me, sorry, ORD of A, that's going to give me 97. But if I give character of 97, that is going to give me A. Okay, so this is just the opposite of that. Is that clear? Okay. Okay. I hope that is clear. So this just converts to ASCII value and then CHR takes ASCII value back to the character. So they both do the opposite thing. Okay, good. So let's go to the answer. The answer is actually it converts lowercase letters into uppercase. So again, as I said, you need to know a little bit about ASCII for this. So the ASCII value of small a is 97, which I just showed you. Let's see what the ASCII value of capital A is. So as you can see, the ASCII value of capital A is 65. So obviously the difference between the small letter and capital letter in ASCII is 32. So we can just verify that also if you want. So you can see that it's 32. So whenever I am subtracting 32 from a small letter, so you can see here we are only taking the small lowercase letters because it should be within this range. And then we are subtracting 32. So that does nothing but convert the smaller lowercase letters to the uppercase letters. Okay. I hope this is clear to everyone. The simple program. So try, you can, if you have any doubts, try putting this code up in your thing and you can see. Okay, next question. Consider the following snippet of code. Which of the following will throw an error? So there's a multiple select question. There could be multiple code which we can give error, but okay. Someone says C, B and C, B, B and C, C, B and C. Okay, maybe we can go to the answer. The answer is actually B and C. Okay. So you can always add something or change something to a list, but to a string, it's not allowed. So to tuple also, it's not allowed. So I can just verify this for you. So if I have a string, sorry, if I have a string as A, B, C, D, and then I try to do string of 0 is equal to Z, that's not going to, oh, sorry. That's not going to allow because string also does not support item assignment. So in that sense, a string is very much like a tuple of characters. In the beginning, I said it's like a list of characters, but I forgot about this aspect of strings. So I should really say string is kind of like a tuple of characters in the sense that it doesn't allow. String is of course its own thing apart from list and tuple in some sense, but here what is happening is that the assignment does not happen. You mean this question or the previous question that I should explain? First of all, did everyone understand this question? Tuple cannot be changed, string also cannot be changed. But string, you can add strings together, but you cannot change the string element like that. Okay, you want the previous question. Before I go to previous question, once more, does everyone understand this question? I think this is fine. Okay, good. So previous question, what's happening is, as I showed you in the Python screen, so you can see here what I'm highlighting. The ASCII value of small a is 97. The ASCII value of capital A is 65. And the difference between these two is 32. And ASCII value continues like that. Okay, so like B will be 98, small b will be 98, capital B will be 66. So the difference will still be 32. So that means that every small letter and capital letter are separated by 32. Okay, so if I take any small letter and I do minus 32, I will get the capital letters ASCII value. Okay, so in this code, what's actually happening is for any word, you're taking each character of that word, and then if it is belonging, and then you're just taking whatever is the character in that word. If that character is between A and Z, small a and Z, remember, then I am just taking its ASCII value and subtracting 32. But as I just explained, when I subtract 32 from ASCII value of any letter, I get the capital letter. Of any small lowercase letter, I get a capital letter. And that's why this is equal to converting all the lowercase letters to a capital letter. Is that clear? Do you understand that now? Okay, let's go to the next question then. I hope you got it. This question. Okay, please put your answers in the chat. Okay, someone says B, B, B. Okay, okay, okay. I can see a lot of you are saying B. Can go to the answer, I think, because we should go to the programs also. The answer is B. Of course, this is a tuple, so we cannot really add to a tuple, so it will not give me, it will give me a type error. It will not allow me to concatenate anything to it. Okay. Next question. Oh, sorry. Okay. Next question. Um, so this is based on this code which is given in the side. How does a given code check if two strings are anagrams? So you already learned what anagrams are in this class, in this week's lectures. But anagrams are basically two words that have all the same letters. So for example, CAT cat and ACT act are the anagrams of each other. They have the same letters but in different order, right? What's another example? So TEAT and ATE, 8 and EAT, eat. These are all the same anagrams of each other because they have the same letters EA and T. Okay, so these are multiple select questions, so there are multiple correct answers. Okay, C and A. A and C, A and C. Okay, I think let's go to the answer because we need to go to the programs also. Yeah, so first, as you can see, obviously, if two words have different lengths, then they can't be anagrams of each other because anagram means it should use all the same letters. And then for each of the words, each of the letters, we're checking if the count of each letter in the word is the same in both the cases. So it iterates. So, for example, how many times does A come? How many times does T come? How many times does E come? If the count, any of these counts are different, then we know that we can break out of the loop. Similarly, if the lengths are different, then we don't even need to check this. So that is why A and C are the correct answer. So this is how you do an anagram code. Okay, if two strings are anagrams, then what could be the output of the following code? Again, this is a MSQ. Okay, someone says B. So this is a multiple select question, so there may be other. Okay, someone says A, B, and D. A and D. Okay, A, B, and D. A and D. Okay, A, C, and D. A, B, and D. Okay, let's maybe go to the answer so we can go to the questions. The programming questions, I mean. So the answer is A, B, and D. So again, by the definition of what an anagram is, you can see that listen and silent are anagrams of each other. They have all the same letters. Similarly, race and care are also anagrams. Hello and world are definitely not anagrams. At the same time, we know that this function is going to return either false or true, which are both Boolean values. So this option is also correct. Okay. I think this is also clear to everyone. So if you know what an anagram is, this is a very easy question. So remember, anagram has all the same letters and use the same amount of times. So listen and silent, race and care, and then what I said, act and cat. Those kinds of things are anagrams. Okay. I thought we were done with the questions. I guess there's more. So here's another. Okay, one second. I forgot what the question was. Okay. So I think here you need to, you know what, let's just skip this question. I don't remember what the question was. I took this from last year's questions. I don't remember what it was. Let's just go to the next question. Because it's already 7, we need to go to the programs. So let's just go to the next question. Which of the following describes the role of matplotlib for data? I'll just update that question before I upload the slides. But I just took it from last year's questions, but I think I forgot to copy paste the actual question. So let me just check that and get back to you. In the meantime, which of the following describes the role of matplotlib in Python's library? So you have learnt about matplotlib. Okay, A. Okay. See, three people saying A and B. Okay, let's go to the answer maybe. So the answer is A. You don't really do numerical computation and statistical analysis for with Matplotlib. That's more NumPy or maybe even Pandas. But Matplotlib is literally what it says. It plots things, and this is one of the libraries that I use the most in my work. So yeah, it's used for creating graphs, plots, labels, visual elements, basically for visualizing your data. Okay. So tuples share a close resemblance to lists. They can be indexed and sliced just like lists. The main point of difference between list and tuples is tuples cannot be updated in place. Which of the following is true about tuples? So true statements, this is a multiple select question. Okay, someone says B. So again, it's multiple select, so there can be multiple correct options. Okay, A, B, and C, A, B, C, B, C, D. Let's go to the answer. The answer is actually all the options are correct. Tuple can hold mutable objects even if it itself is immutable. This we saw in the very first question of today, where a tuple was made of lists which we were able to change, but not the tuple itself. Tuple can be nested. That means a tuple can contain tuples. We can always convert list to tuple and vice versa. Tuple can contain multiple sequences. So in a sense, all of you got the correct answer, but actually all the options are correct here. Okay, good. So with that, we finished the first part. So let's go to the programming assignments for today. So as usual, I'll give you some time to do the program, and I really want all of you to do the program because that's the way you learn. I sound like a broken record, but the way to learn programming, there's no shortcuts, there's only practice. And I hope that these 2 hour sessions, which we have every Monday, and I try to keep at least 1 hour for the programming part, so that every week you actually have 1 hour in which you're going on your computer and trying to program. Of course, you can do it in your own time also. So please do the thing. That's all. So I'll give you a fixed amount of time. So please, if you got it before that, don't post your answers in the chat. Let's all discuss it together after the time is done. Okay. So here's the first question. Your question is to remove strings from a list of tuples. You are given a list of tuples where each tuple contains a mix of integers and strings. Your task is to remove all the string elements from each tuple while keeping the original structure of the list. Okay? If a tuple becomes empty after removing strings, it should be represented as an empty tuple. The number of tuples in the output list must be the same as in the input list. So here again, remember that tuple can have multiple elements. In that case, I need to only remove the elements which are strings. So basically, you have a list of tuples. So you have a list where each element is a tuple. You have to go to each tuple and change the string elements alone. Okay. So think about how to do that with the tuple first of all, and second of all, how to get this output. Okay. So you can try putting your, I'll give you maybe 10 minutes. We can discuss this at 7:15. Okay. I'll give you time to do it till then. Again, if you finish, don't put your answers immediately. At 7:15, we can all discuss together. Okay, maybe we can discuss the solution. Did anyone get the solution? How many of you tried the question? Did nobody try the question? How many of you tried? It doesn't matter if you didn't get the solution, but how many of you tried the question? Please raise your hands. Okay, good. One person tried. Any other people? Okay, good, good, good. Okay, good. Fine. Okay, not yet. Okay, fine. No problem. So, I can give you 2 more minutes and then we can slowly discuss what the solution is, or let's just start discussing so that we have time because it's 7:15. So, those of you tried very good. No problem if you didn't get the solution. This is how we learn. So, let me just show you the solution. Actually, it uses an interesting built-in function. So, this is one of the ways that you can solve it. So, yeah, increase my size. Okay. So here we are going to use a function called isInstance. Okay. So isInstance is basically it's a built-in Python function which is used to check if an object is an instance of a specified class or type, or is an instance of a subclass derived from that type. So what does this mean? This basically means that whether an object is an instance of a particular class, here class can mean a data type, for example. So here, for example, when I say check of x, it's checking if x is a string or not. Simply, if x is a string, it will give me true. If x is not a string, it will give me false. That's all that this means, right? If I had given int here, int is also a class of itself. It's a data type, but it's also a class. Python reads it as a class. So then int, if x is in int data type, then it will give true. If it's not, it will give false. So that's how it works. So we can use this because here we really need to check if something is a, sorry, if something is a string or not, right? So I'm just going to do this function of isInstance and then run and check whether something is a string or not. Okay. Now here you can see that I gave check in the check function. Instead of just giving return isInstance, you gave not of isInstance. So the reason why not is important is because we actually want to remove all the cases which are string, right? So the way I have done it is I've put a not here and then later, done used another built-in function which is called filter. So here in filter is a built-in function which used to construct an iterator from elements of an iterable for which a function returns true. So again here in filter, the way that you do it is you run a function and an iterable. So an iterable is anything that can be iterated through. So a list can be an iterable, a function, a tuple can be an iterable, um, a- anything can be an iterable. Okay. So here what I am doing is I am actually running this filter. So filter always returns those elements that I am iterating over which returns true. So that's why this not of is instance is important, because if I had just given is instance, that would have returned true for string and false for not string. Whereas here, because I want to use this filter function, I need it to return true whenever it's not a string. That's why this not function is very important. So here you can see that I am just simply returning a tuple, and then I'm making a tuple out of filter of check comma x. So check is the function, x is the iterable. Here x is each of the elements in this list of tuples, which are of course tuples. So remember, we have not violated any rules of tuples or anything like that, because we are not changing x itself. This returns to me a whole new list which I am then converting to a tuple, because filter gives an output which is a list. So I need to convert it back into a tuple, and that's why tuple is done. So don't worry that you might have this doubt, because we have spent this entire 1 hour, 1.5 hours saying that tuple cannot be modified, tuple cannot be modified, and here it looks like I'm modifying tuple. I am not. I'm simply filtering the elements of the tuple which function, which has a particular condition using this check function, and then I'm constructing a new tuple from them. So let's see what happens when I run this. So here you can see that I have a list of tuples. There are three tuples within the list. So the first one only has strings, second one doesn't have any strings, and third one has one integer and one string. And you know it's a string because even though it's a number, it's within quotes. So let's see what happens when it runs. So if it runs, this should be empty, this should be 2 comma 225, and this should just be 3. So let's see if we get the correct output. So as you can see, the first element gives an empty tuple, the second one gives 2 comma 225, and the last one just gives 3 without the next element. So that's exactly what we wanted. So any doubts here? We have learned about two new built-in functions, which is one is filter and okay, sorry. It's let me just put this to indicate these are functions. So these are two built-in functions. One is instance and the other is filter, and these can both be used in such a situation. Okay, is this clear to everyone? Any doubts in this question? Okay, someone has done it in a different way using alphanumerics and is alpha. Nice. So, if you're again, as I say, there's always multiple ways in which to do any program. So, as long as your program works, it's well and good. So, this is another way to do it. Okay, good, fine. So, as long as it's giving the same output, it's all fine. I'm not checking in detail, but yeah, this is how I've done it. Any doubts in this question? Any questions, clarifications? So here I have introduced two new built-in functions. I don't know, maybe these have already been introduced in your class, but at least new from the standpoint of this classes. Okay, I'm assuming there are no doubts. So let's go to the next program. Oh, okay. Sorry, this is there twice for some reason. Five programs, right? Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Next question is remove anagram duplicates and sort. So remember, anagram is when two words have all the same letters but in different orders, like we saw listen and silent, which are anagrams of each other. So you are given a sequence of words. Two words are anagrams if they contain the same letters in a different order, which I just now said. Your task is to remove any word that is an anagram of an earlier word while keeping the first occurrence. Finally, print the words in sorted order. So you shouldn't remove all the instances of the anagram. It's just that if one word appears once and then later its anagram comes, then just remove its anagram. Okay. So this is the question. I'll give you some time to check it out. We already saw a program of how to check if two words are anagrams. So if you remember that, that's also going to be helpful to you. Or you can think of your own way to do it also. So I'll give you maybe till 7 Yeah, I already gave you like 5 minutes, so let's go till 7:35 maybe, or 30, 7:30. Yeah, 35. Let's go, let's discuss the solution at 7:35. Okay, so all of you please try it. Oh, sorry. I hope you guys are trying. I'll give you 5 more minutes and then we can discuss the solution. How many of you are trying the question? Please keep your hands raised. Anyone got the answer or something? Those of you are not trying, please, like if you don't have a laptop, at least you can try to get the funda or something. Don't just stare at it waiting for me to give the solution because, again, it helps you in the end of the day. Still trying. Okay. I'll give you 5 more minutes and then let's discuss the solution together. Okay. 7:35 we'll discuss. Okay, maybe let's start discussing the answer before I discuss anyone who's got the solution and wants to share it. Okay, if not, let's just go to the solution. So first, let's try to understand the question. So again, I've already explained what an anagram is. So again, you are given a list of or sequence of words, and you have to remove all the anagrams except the first occurrence. Okay, any word that is anagram of any previous word that came in the sequence. Okay, that's the idea here. So yeah, those of you are trying, you can keep trying, but for interest of time, I'll just share the solution. Okay, so mm, okay, fine. Okay, anyway. So, I don't know why. Okay, list. Huh. So here you go. So this is the program to remove all the anagram strings. So here you can see that it takes an array, which is a list of strings and the number of strings in the thing. We are going to store our answer in a different string. So let's first initialize a dictionary, which is going to keep track of the previously occurring strings. Okay. So now for every element in the list, we are going to go through the list and then we are going to sort the characters of the current string. So why are we sorting the characters? Because remember in two and in an anagram, the all the characters are the same. So we can just compare the sorted when we sort them, they will both give the same answer, right? So that's why we are going to sort the word. And then if this current word is not present, then push it to the dictionary. If not, do this. And then whatever is the resultant list of strings, just sort it out. And because we want to print the sorted list, and then we are printing it. So let's try this out now. Oh, sorry, one second. First, let's clear this. So let's try this out. I'm just going to close the ports thing. Okay. Yeah. So let's write 8, eat, car, arc, care, race, listen, silent. Okay. And then some other word. I'm going to write my name. Okay. So obviously these are anagrams, these are anagrams, these are anagrams, these are anagrams. So the second word, all of these second words should be removed. And as you can see, all the second words are removed. Eat is not there because eight is already there. Car is there. Arc is not there because car is already there. Care is there. Race is not there because care is already there. Listen is there. Silent is not there. And then Xenia, there is no other anagram. So that's why it's there. Okay, so here again, we are just using a dictionary to keep track of the words. So dictionary is for just keeping track of how many instances. And then this just tells us which are the words to be used. And then the sorted of the answer just gives me that. Okay, so you can see that answer of append, array of one, and then found word of one. So that's all you do. Okay, so found is the dictionary. So found just tells you when the word is there. So found helps you to keep track of all the words, and then we are only going to append the words which are not already in found. Okay, so remember that word what we have sorted is not the answer. The answer is actually what is the original word only. Okay, so it's going to be array of I. It's not going to be word, because if we append word, that will not be actual word, right? It will just be the sorted letters of the word. So we have to always append the original array. Okay, is this clear? Any doubts in this program? Any doubts in this program? Or should we go to the next question? Okay, if not, let's go to the next question then. Okay, this is the next question. In many data processing tasks, okay, good. Cumulative operations like summation or multiplication of adjacent elements is required. This problem focuses on adjacent element multiplication. Adjacent means nearby, where each pair of consecutive elements in a given tuple. So the consecutive elements are multiplied to generate a new tuple. The input tuple can contain both positive and negative integers, and the goal is to compute a resultant tuple where each element is a product of two adjacent elements in the original tuple. So here you can see that we have an input tuple as 1, minus 5, 7, 8, minus 10. The output tuple is 1 into minus 5, minus 5, minus 5 into 7, minus 35, 7 into 8, 56, and 8 into minus 10, minus 80. Okay. So remember that whatever input you give, the output tuple will be one less because you are multiplying the adjacent elements. So one less element will be there in the output tuple when compared to the input tuple. Okay, is the question clear to everyone? Any doubts in the question? I hope not. So if not, I'll give you like 10 minutes then. Now it's 7:40. Let's go till 7:50 and you can try the question. We can end with this question then, unless you guys finish early. I have two more questions, but as always, even if I don't discuss the questions, I will be sharing it and I'll share all the links with you, all the programs and their solutions. So let's try to take 10 minutes to do this question and then let's discuss the solution at 7:50. Okay? Please try it, okay? I'm giving you this time instead of just discussing the solution so that you actually try the questions. It's good for you only. Okay, so I'll give you 10 minutes. Please try out the question. Okay, someone has actually got the question. Okay, good. Someone got the answer. Very good. Any other people who got the answer? So you have just made it into a list and then made a list and then converted that to a tuple. Nice. Okay, I'll give maybe 5 more minutes then instead of waiting till 7:50 in case others are trying, and then we can discuss the solution. Okay, okay, good. Another person has given the answer. So maybe we can just go to the answer because you guys seem to have solved it. Others, if you're trying, keep trying, but I'll just show my answer as well. Let's go to week 3. So here now, I wanted to use this to show another input built-in function, which is called zip. Of course, you don't have to use zip. As you saw, we can do it without it, as your friends have done. But here I'm just trying to use another input function so that you guys can understand about it. Okay, so that you can see it in action. So again, remember that there's no one way to solve any question and you can always be as creative as you want. Zip is, I just wanted to show how the zip works. Okay, so we are going to use zip and then just generator expression, which is just, we are just generating tuple within this brackets and then the tuple. Okay, so first of all, I'm getting the tuple as input, which is the usual case. That similar to how we do for a list, but here I have to just convert it to a tuple after getting all the numbers. So I'm going to use zip. So zip is basically, you can, again, if you have Visual Studio Code, by the way, if you just hover over any function, built-in function or function in a like Python library, it will give you the documentation of it. But I've also written it in the comments here. So zip is a built-in function that takes one or more iterables. So iterable is again a tuple or a list or something like that. List, tuple, or strings as arguments and aggregates corresponding elements into tuples. So if you give it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, zip is going to give you 1 comma 2 as a tuple, 2 comma 3 as a tuple. Okay, I mean I can just show it to you actually instead of saying it like this. So let's have a list which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then if I give zip of L, okay, one sec. I can't just give that. So I have to give print. Let's see, print zip of L. Maybe that. Uh, okay. Print zip of L of zip. I think this should work. Uh, okay. Why didn't that work? Zip object. Okay, wait. I have to find this. How to do this? Zip. Okay, display is to convert it to a list or tuple and then print. Okay, 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 fine. A list of zip. Okay, okay, fine. Let's try that then. I thought this returns a list. My bad. Okay. Okay, fine. So you can see that it just gives 1, comma 2, comma. So suppose I give L, comma L, for example, then you can see that it gives 1, comma 1, 2, comma 2, 3, comma 3, 4, comma 4. So it just iterates them together. So here what we are doing is we are taking input tuple starting from the first element and then the input tuple starting from the next element. So obviously it will take the zeroth element and the first element together, then first element and the second element together, second element and third element together, etc. And they'll multiply, for example. And that's exactly what we need to do. So that's what zip does. It just gives you an iteration over any iterable. And if you give it like this, then you can get it in pairs like this. Okay. So suppose I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you can see it's 2, 1 into 2, 2, 2 into 3, 6, 6, 3 into 4, 12, 4 into 5, 20. So the answer is correct. We can even give the example that they gave. 1 minus 5, 7, 8 minus 10. So 1 minus 5, 7, 8 minus 10, and it gives minus 5, minus 35, 656, and minus 80, what we discussed in the beginning. Okay, maybe like let's do very quickly one more and then we can end the class. Okay. So given a tuple list, perform sort on basis of total digits in the tuple. So again, this is a tuple list or a list of tuples like we've seen before. It's a list where every element is a tuple. So here you can see that, for example, the first element. So you have to sort based on total digits. Okay. So here, for example, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 digits. Here you have 1 and 2 digits. Here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 digits. So you have to count how many digits are there in all the numbers and then sort it accordingly. Okay. I'll give you, this is a pretty simple question and also we're running out of time. So I'll give you 5 minutes. You can just try it out quickly and then I'll discuss the answer. Okay. I'll give you just 5 minutes because I want to end on time. So I'll just give you 5 minutes. Just try out quickly. If you are able to get it, fine. Otherwise, let's discuss the answer. Okay, maybe let's discuss the solution. Have any of you got the solution to this question? Any of you got the solution? Oh, okay, I saw that some of you had mentioned about zip. Yeah, sorry, I didn't see it at that time. Okay, if not, I'll just discuss the solution. Let's end the meeting on time. So this is the fourth question, which is why we want to count the digits of the tuple. So simply we are just going to take the length of, we are just going to convert each element to a string and take the length of that string. So that's what this does. Each element, for the each element in the tuple, we are converting to a string, taking the length, then summing it up. All the lengths we are summing up. So when we have this initial list like what I gave, then sort, we are going to sort with a key. The key here is counting the digits, which is this function. So key is any function which allows us to, so when you sort something, you can always put a pass in a key, and it will sort based on the function you're sorting. Otherwise it will just sort by the default option. Here we want to sort based on this count digits function that we have done. So let's just give the answer. So here you can see that 1 and 2 have 2 digits, there's 5 digit, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 digits, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 digits. So that's how this is sorted. Okay, so the original list is here and the sorted list is here. If it's not clear, I can just run it again. So here you go. So this is how you do this question. I hope that this is fine and this is how you solve this. So is that fine for everyone? Since we have some time, any doubts in this? We can just do the last question I have also, because we have 5 minutes. Okay, so if there's no doubts, let's just do the last question. So I'm not giving you time on this one. I'm just going to discuss the question and then discuss the answer. This is anyway a very simple question. Given a list of numbers, write a Python program to create a list of tuples, having the first element as the number and second element as a cube of the number. So your input is going to be a list. It's like 1, 2, 3. Your output is going to be a list of tuples instead of just a simple list. Okay. I think you all should be able to do this. So we can just go and we can take this, can go to the program. So here you can see there's some list. We are just going to use simple list comprehension. For a result is going to be a tuple of value comma value cubed for every value in the list. And then we are printing the result. So it's literally a 3-line code. So, yeah, we just for 1, 2, 5, 6, we get 1, 1, 2, 8, 5, 125, 6, 2, and 6. Okay. So that was the last question. So last two questions were just some simple list iterations and using that. So any doubts in this question or any of these questions? If not, I think we're done for the day. So let me just, for housekeeping, just share again. So again, all the questions and their links are, sorry, and the recordings, the slides, recordings, programs, everything has been made available to you. This is a website, just bookmark this website. If you go to this website, this is a page on my website. You can see the YouTube playlist of all the videos. I'll be uploading today's video shortly, and you can also find the slides along with the programs of each week here. If anyone has any other pressing concern, please ask now. Any other questions or concerns? If not, let's end the session for today. Thank you for joining again. So I'll see you next week at the same time from Monday on Monday from 6 to 8. Have a nice rest of your week. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining. Thanks. I'm ending the meeting.